SQLAlchemy default DateTime. This is my declarative model. However, when I try to import this module, I get this error. If I use an integer type, I can set a default value. What's going on?
DateTime doesn't have a default key as an input. The default key should be an input to the column function. Try this.
Calculate timestamps within your DB, not your client. For sanity, you probably want to have all date times calculated by your DB server, rather than the application server. Calculating the timestamp in the application can lead to problems because network latency is variable, clients experience slightly different clock drift, and different programming languages occasionally calculate time slightly differently. SQLAlchemy allows you to do this by passing func.now or func.current_timestamp. They are aliases of each other, which tells the DB to calculate the timestamp itself. Use SQLAlchemy's server_default. Additionally, for a default where you're already telling the DB to calculate the value, it's generally better to use server_default instead of default. This tells SQLAlchemy to pass the default value as part of the create table statement. For example, if you write an ad hoc script against this table, using server_default means you won't need to worry about manually adding a timestamp call to your script. The database will set it automatically. Understanding SQLAlchemy's oneUpdate/server_oneUpdate. SQLAlchemy also supports oneUpdate so that any time the row is updated it inserts a new timestamp. Again, best to tell the DB to calculate the timestamp itself. There is a server_oneUpdate parameter, but unlike server_default, it doesn't actually set anything server-side. It just tells SQLAlchemy that your database will change the column when an update happens. Perhaps you created a trigger on the column, so SQLAlchemy will ask for the return value so it can update the corresponding object. One other potential gotcha. You might be surprised to notice that if you make a bunch of changes within a single transaction, they all have the same timestamp. That's because the SQL standard specifies that current_timestamp returns values based on the start of the transaction. PostgreSQL provides the non-SQL standard statement _timestamp and clock_timestamp which do change within a transaction. Docs here, this URL. UTC timestamp. If you want to use UTC timestamps, a stub of implementation for func.utNow is provided in SQLAlchemy documentation. You need to provide appropriate driver-specific functions on your own though.
You can also use SQLAlchemy built-in function for default DateTime.
You likely want to use oneUpdate equals datetime.now so that updates also change the last _updated field. SQLAlchemy has two defaults for Python executed functions. Default sets the value on insert, only once. OneUpdate sets the value to the callable result on update as well.